the incremental positive from the CWC is that they prioritize the domestic consumption, which has been one of investors' concerns. So these are positives. But on the other side, market pretty much timely reflected that already. You know, if you look at the China market, it actually, in US dollar terms, year to date, MSCI China or HSCI outperformed the India, Japan market and clearly outperformed the Korea market. So market already re-rated like more than 10% year to date, and that's reflective of the policy pivoting and higher policy expectations. So I don't think the meetings last week in itself is going to be enough to drive market another leg. I think for going forward, we're going to look more into the details in terms of whether the detailed policy actions are meeting expectations, whether there's a coordinated package of policy easing, and also the scope of the easing, whether, you know, we see more fundamental reforms, structural reforms beyond the short-term stimulus.
Yeah, it seems the consensus out there is that they need to see more sort of policy announcements that are actually going to ease the deflationary pressures and a rebound in corporate earnings. That's a quote from one strategist who's been quoted by CNBC in an article online. I'm just wondering, moving into 2025, do you believe that the authorities have enough sort of dry powder up their sleeve from the messaging and the communication we're getting as a policy offset in the face of the Trump tariff threats?
I think China has no shortage of creative policies, right? I think, you know, there's enough dry powder if they want to, if they are committed to. But I guess at this stage, we still need to see, you know, first is how do they prioritize things? Is the priority still more on advance of the state sector, you know, strengthening the position of the SOEs, or could they be more focused in terms of materially helping with the private sector, the consumer confidence, the POE's employment situation? And also, you know, among the different policy goals, how do we balance promoting domestic consumption versus this anti-corruption, avoiding extravagant lifestyle sort of requirement? So I don't think it's a shortage of the policy tools, but I think there are really conflicting policy goals, and it's about how they prioritize and when do they decide to pull the trigger of saying, whatever it takes, right? At this stage, I think, you know, the evaluation of the tariff impact, the evaluation of external shocks, different parties might still have different conclusions in terms of how big an impact, how big a potential damage to China's growth will be next year. So I don't think we're going to see the so-called policy bazooka in the next couple of months yet.